Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mac here from Cryptstar, and today I want to walk you guys through my recent Agora post. I posted it on the Tezos Agora forum, and it's a very close to me. This topic of a perpetual testnet. We have actually started a Kaizen testnet for Tezos. Just want to jump into that, go ahead and show exactly what it means to you as the end user or a baker or just overall Tezos enthusiast. It's a very important. I really want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this today. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. First, I want to go ahead and head over to the Agora post. I'll leave a link in the description below. So you can see here, Kaizen is Japanese for perpetual or continuous improvement. Now, there's a really cool kanji for this, and it basically just means that. It's the opportunity to go ahead and keep moving along, agile framework, going ahead and improving and adding on. As of right now, Tezos does have a big issue in that developers, they need to redeploy their smart contracts every time Tezos upgrades. And this can use up to 2 to 5% of their time every year just redeploying their contracts. Now, as we all know, Tezos smart contract developers are few and far between. So we need to go ahead and utilize the ones we do have and make their lives easier so they can train more devs and bring them on board to create us more amazing dApps and cool contracts. Okay, right now there are 3, 4, 5 testnets. I don't know. There's like a lot of testnets. There's Granada testnet. Before that, we had Florence. Before that, we had Edo. Every time Tezos upgraded, these smart contracts had to go ahead and be redeployed on the testnet, and it costed these devs time. Also, as Tezos has gone up in price, I mean, it was 30 cents when I first got in, and then now it's like at $3 or $4. It's really expensive to start up a bakery on the mainnet. So we have all of these new users coming in, but we don't have the infrastructure to go ahead and test all the smart contracts before we can onboard these new users. So they're getting all these errors. And this isn't exactly the only, origin of these issues. However, it is one of the origins and I think it's a low-hanging fruit for Tezos, is to go ahead and have this testnet where there are actual users using it, and people can actually test their dApps and see the errors before we deploy to mainnet, meaning the onboarding process for new users who are using Tezos will be much, much smoother. Right now, there's no incentives for users to use testnet. As a baker, I ran a baker on testnet. I ran a baker on Yalza blah 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 net. I don't know who chose that name because I can't pronounce it. There are bakers on there, but there's no incentive for me to keep it running. I mean, running a server costs money. If I don't make any income, it's just costing me a negative, every month. Unless I have a dApp that I'm running that I'm making income off of that can kind of make it worth my time to run this bakery, this nonprofit baker, then it's not worth it. With an incentivized testnet, we can make the entry to baking like $100. We can onboard all these people who can't afford ethereum fees, can't afford ethereum, can't afford Tezos baking, and they can come on into Tezos testnet, and this gives us a huge opportunity for growth in the user base, and starting from the actual validator node base, which is the bakers. Polkadot, for example, they do have a really, really nice testnet. It's called Kusama, and it's actually incentivized, right? So all of these projects, they launch on Kusama, they do all of their testing, and then a few months later, they do their crowd loan, and then they launch on, they have a really strong backing because they've done all their bug testing and everything. Then they can launch that same app under a different name on mainnet, Polkadot. Now, if you guys want an example of this, I'm not going to go into it too deeply right now, but there is some projects called Moon River and Moonbeam. So Moon River is on Kusama, which is the testnet, and Moonbeam it's called Glimmer, and it's on Polkadot. Basically, the Moon River launched first, then Moonbeam launched, and it has a really smooth launch because they've already tested everything, and it's already incentivized on Kusama. I just think that Tezos, we're really good at taking good ideas from other blockchains. Tezos is the scavenger of the blockchains. That's the whole reason we have this upgrade process, so that we can take the good parts from other chains. And this testnet is not necessarily an upgrade to the Tezos blockchain itself. It's something we as a community have to take charge of and have to kind of, bond together and go ahead and create this so that we can create more value for the Tezos ecosystem. With Kaizen Testnet, we want to go ahead and keep Tezos at the edge of innovation and free up the devs' time, as well as put the power of the testnet back in our hands. Right now, Nomadic, they launched the testnet. They do all that stuff. It shouldn't be their responsibility. We as the bakers and as Tezos community members, we should be holding, the testnet and helping them test their testnet before we vote in their protocol upgrades. I just want to bring a lot more attention to this, and I think by giving even a really small, like 0.0, a fraction of a Tez value to this testnet would basically incentivize people. Hey, I want to try out being a baker. I can run it on my Raspberry Pi or my Intel NUC. I'm going to go ahead and start one up right now at work because I work a 9-to-5 job, and whatever. I mean, IT companies, they love it when their people go ahead and experiment with new technology. That's how they get like really smart people working at their companies, right? I mean, I remember when just to kind of go on an example, a tangent. I remember when they had the masternode thing, when the first proof of stake launched, and they had these masternodes, $120,000. I was like, there is no way I can get into this. And even with Tezos at the time, at 30 cents, I could barely afford I think it was 500 Tezos. Could barely afford any of it. I was making crap money. So I had kind of worked my way up from, 300 Tezos. I started with 300 Tezos. I worked my way up from there to about, I think it was 8,000 eventually. And then I was able to start a baker. I started Tezos Japan. Then I went ahead and then I joined up with a new partner. We went ahead and started a Cryptstar. Yeah, I want to give other people the opportunity to go ahead and start small and then grow bigger. And right now, the $40,000 is just a lot, Even with Tezos price crash, we're still at $40,000 to start up a baker. That is one of my main goals, and I also want to help free up the devs' time, okay? Also, we would like to keep up with the tradition of Tezos and keep on-chain governance, same as Tezos. So basically, Tezos chooses the upgrades, and then we just upgrade like a week before them so that DApp owners can test all their test applications on this. This is also, just a side note, this is also an opportunity for gaming companies who have really high barrier to entry on mainnet. They can start a lower barrier to entry games on testnet, so people with less money can actually test out their games and have fun, and then they can actually make a little bit of extra income using Kaizen Testnet. I think that would also lower barrier to entry for some of the gaming platforms out there. We have a few goals that we've went ahead and set, and those goals have pretty much half of them have been accomplished. We have actually started a Kaizen testnet, and we have about 8 bakers registered right now. My baker is currently getting baking rights, so I'll start baking later this week. We have built up a communication channel on Slack between Nomadic Labs and the bakers. Nicholas Ochim, he's the founder of MiddleDev, and he does a lot of the Tezos snapshots, and he does a lot of the testnet work. And he's kind of like the middle coordinator between Nomadic and Tezos bakers, and he has graciously set up like a snapshot on his testnet website, so you can go ahead and download the snapshot from there. We are also going to build a team of bakers. I want to slowly get started. We want to build communication channels. Our biggest goal is to go ahead and get bakers in the loop and keep them in the loop. So we're going to bring them in, put them into I think we're going to start a Discord, not necessarily Slack in the future. And then we're going to do all this troubleshooting channels, help getting started, troubleshooting, support desk, things like that, just to make it easier for bakers to just hop in and get the help that they need from other community members. We also want to build a proper schedule for the Kaizen. Right now we're saying, my idea was kind of just to go with the adoption period time frame, which is like I think 9 days or something. Basically, we have an extra 9 days to go ahead and test out that before the adoption period starts for the mainnet. And then as soon as the adoption period starts for mainnet, we're actually already in the protocol upgrade itself on Kaizen. They can test they can actually have the adoption period, go ahead and test out, all of this stuff on the Kaizen testnet, rather than spinning up their own Kaizen testnet or syncing to the beta version of Kaizen Testnet. Or sorry, of the new protocol upgrade. Ugh. So we want to have an application process at first. So basically, we're gonna have like a little form you fill out, and then you ask, gonna be a baker. What's your goals being a baker? How much IT experience do you have? Just really basic stuff, not really necessarily KYC. Just maybe like a Twitter account and some sort of Telegram contact information. That way we can know that you're going to be active and you're not just trying to get the testnet Tez and then just hodl it so nobody else can use it. That's kind of not the goal of this. We want active participation. So we're going to do that by doing this application process. We're going to set a goal of I think 300 bakers or so during this application process while we're using this multi-sig wallet. And then after that, we're planning to figure out a way to go ahead and bridge Kaizen to the mainnet, incentivize it, make it like $100 to bake, very cheap. And bakers can go and pop up all over the world, and we have a proper community set up, 300 people or more. Yeah, and then we want more comments on this agora so we can have your feedback. I heard some people saying we should incentivize it, but to be honest, I don't know if I would want to run a baker if it's not incentivized at all. However, if I'm making little pennies, I'm much happier rather than making nothing. Just because I think it adds it's a psychological effect on your mind, Then we will also make a dedicated website. I went ahead and I bought this little brand image, so we're planning to use this as the brand image, and then we also have a cool little kanji brand image that comes with it. So we got this cool little brand image you can see here too. So we're planning to use that as well. for the token when we wrap it on the mainnet. I think that's pretty much it for now. If you're interested in learning more about Kaizen Testnet and you want to become a baker, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Feel free to hit me up on the Agora post. Hit me up on Slack, wherever you want. You can hit up Nicholas, or Primate is involved as well. And Primate can go ahead and point you in the right direction. We have, like I said, we have 8 bakers now, and we plan to grow that in the future to 300 plus. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helped, and I will catch you all next time.
Bro, we need to pump it. Everybody, go to Twitter and hashtag the things. Pump it. You know, pump it real good. We need a good pump. Everybody deserves a nice Tezos pump.